Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm starting at an earlier time today, so we'll see how well the notifications work. But the thoughts came to me that I was again just waiting for the clock. I'm so filled with inspirations, and I don't like allowing those to disappear without being documented or shared somehow, some way. It's just what I feel. So I'm filled with faith this morning, inspiration, and sincerely, where I'm coming from today, brothers and sisters, those who know me, you should know God is good. Praise God, sincerely, the creator of this story of life that we are all participating in. It's something special. My faith in that God, the one that Jesus, Yeshua, called the Father. And as I understand, it's Allah as well. It's many names, and many people have tried to explain the force of creation that brings forth life. I know it as the all that is. And when you accept that all that is God, well, then you start to wonder what is not, what is real and what is not. These are the things that I set out to know. And honestly, this thumbnail today, Psalms 34, 4, 5. I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. And I tell you what, in my mind, and I can explain why this is why it works and why it might be relevant for you. But in my mind, I resolved myself that my God is the truth. So in my own personal testimony, I shared this in the description. I sought the truth, and the Lord, whatever that is, the creator of life, it answered me with opportunities to learn. I sought the truth, and my life was offered opportunities for me to learn. The truth I learned delivered me from all of my fears, all of my past fears, at least. Who knows what God might bless me with in the future? But I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident because following that, continuing, those who look to the truth, those who always seek the truth, they are radiant with wisdom and answers. Their faces aren't covered with shame. When you look to the truth and you speak with the truth and you stand with the truth and you align yourself with the truth, there's no shame. And that's the humility that all of us can embrace, brothers and sisters. Arpul, welcome, brother. Thank you for joining, man. I started earlier, and the thought I had earlier is it seems the numbers are greater after the live stream ends. It could be the way that YouTube does the counts and stuff, but it seems many of my viewers aren't during the actual live stream. So I thought, let's dip down a little earlier and see what is drawn in. But I don't know what I'm doing. I just know what I'm trying to offer, and what I'm trying to share truly is a better world. A better world is available for us all. When we learn how to humble ourselves to the truth, and the truth is in the video title today, you are more important than your attachments. You are. You're more important than your attachments, but I'm not attached to anything. Are you? Or are you not? See, these thoughts were actually inspired by a brilliant conversation by Dr. Gabbard earlier today. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I already got the stream out. You know what? I'm going to drop the link and I'll figure this out. And this way I can share the link of the video too. Drop this over to Facebook. Should people join us on Facebook, and for those who join us on Rumble, um, please feel free to join the panel as well. I'm not gonna open the panel up immediately, but we will have some open conversations for those who wish to join, right? But here, that's why I did this. Let me now share this because this is my whole point. I'm here to share knowledge. I know that God has blessed me with discovering some amazing teachers. And I shared this video, honestly, messenger, um, through to people who I truly do care about, so um, I'm sharing it with you as well. Dr. Gabor Mate, for those who haven't yet discovered, he explains himself in that video. Um, he's in one of my in my opinion, he's one of the most gifted and brilliant healers, teachers of today. He teaches a method of healing, uses a method of healing of he calls compassionate inquiry. And his observations on trauma are just beautiful and incredible. So, for those of you who are still carrying some darkness and unrest within you, please check that link out. Ideally, after my stream, but whenever, whatever. He's definitely a more experienced teacher than me. But the point he was discussing that I was inspired by is the obvious mind body connections. There is no separation from our mind and our body. So what is the mind? The mind is the activity of thoughts. Now, the activity of thoughts within our mind, it will trigger all sorts of chemicals and signals throughout our body. We can imagine ourselves into states of panic, into states of depression. We can imagine ourselves into true states of fear, even when there's no reason for it. Future tripping, right? Getting lost in memories and, amplifying, magnifying the imagined pain we're still carrying. I've done it. I know how tricky our minds can become. So, brothers and sisters, what I want to encourage you to realize, well, what I hope to help others, you, the world. I hope to help the world around me realize how powerful you are. As a human being, the power within you is it's not what our schools and education systems have taught. No, the power that is within you, it's true from my observations and my explanations. The power that is within you is the life of God. Okay. And the life of God can be lived through you honestly and authentically, generously, fearlessly, faithfully, just like the Spirit of Christ was shown to us in the example, in the stories. I was outside in the sun again today, feeling feeling the earth under my feet. Just that feeling of life that flows through the breath that we breathe. And I was feeling how much God loves us. It's like the evidence is so clear, especially if you bring in the story of Jesus. And this is where my mind went. God, the story goes, God so loved us that he offered forth his son. And as the story goes, Jesus was the perfected one. He was the one who was most holy all his life, right? Allegedly. I don't know anyone that can prove differently, but whatever. This is the story I have in my head, is that he was perfect, holy in all of his deeds and wonders. And it was through the faith of the Father that everything came forth. And so, you know, there was others in the past who God loved, right? But God allowed this one to just be brutally destroyed. Jesus was like, they were merciless upon him. God allowed it. God allowed it so that true love could be shown, right? The love of Christ, the love of that man in that story. It's changed this world. It's wow. God's love is infinite. And you and I, we are limited yet infinite expressions of love. The limitations we find are mostly imagined, they're mostly conditioned. It's false beliefs. We're living in this world where the majority of people are living with misery and suffering because they've got these false paradigms built into their minds. I can't do anything. I have no choice but to go to this job. I have no choice but to get revenge. I have no choice but to carry misery. It's nonsense. We all have choice. We all have the opportunity to outgrow the things that we no longer need to cling to, just like a child, right? Children cling to their attachments, their toys. They're so unwilling to let them go. It's grown people with their memories and their beliefs, their opinions. One of the thoughts I wrote down today is, oh, where did I write it? Oh, what can you do? What can you do as an individual to open your own mind? What can you do to open your mind to the godlike qualities of you? Where is your divinity? Where is your purity? Where does your goodness come forth? Those are the questions you got to ask for yourself and figure out. But I'm telling you, turning to love and turning to a love of the truth, it'll change your life. It'll transform you completely from within. And as you transform from within, your life will change. And change isn't always a bad thing. It's one of the things I've been taught. Life has taught me this through lots of unsettling changes and disappointments, betrayals, robberies, just all sorts of crap. I've been through a bunch of stuff in this life, but change isn't always a bad thing. When change comes forth, it opens up room for greater to emerge. Hey, I'm going to bring you up, Cage. I'm grateful to see you. I'm going to bring you up in just a moment. I don't have a lot of thoughts I want to get through, but I got a few. And I allowed myself to wander. So this is a great reminder. Hey, the way today, God bless you too, Provo. The way today was already shared. Peace, love, and blessings. That is the way today and every day. At least for me. You know why? I guess because I'm selfish. It feels good. Feels good to bring forth peace, love, and blessings. It really does. And then you throw some praise in there for knowing life. Oh, the point. Life. What is life? Life is consciousness. It's our awareness of our memories, our thoughts, our imaginations. Life is consciousness from our perspective. And what is our consciousness? It's our sense perception and our reasoning. Okay. Our sense perception and our reasoning are what create our life. So, those two tools, the sense perception and the reasoning, are incredible gifts that have been given to us. But it's up to each of us to understand the tools and the gifts that we receive. The gifts and the tools that we receive come through our uh, sense perceptions and our thoughts, our reasoning. That's where it was. Anyway, so knowing the tools that you've got at your disposal to enhance or destroy your life. Um, One of the things to remind in this video that with uh, Gabor is the mind-body connections. When your mind is not at rest, your body is not at rest. And if you're constantly placing yourself into habitual states of nervousness and agitation from the patterns of your mind, you're tearing up your body. Bodies aren't made to be like that. We're made to chill out. We're made to work when it's time to work, and we're incredible. Anyway, there's a mind body connection that there's no separation from. So if you want to feel better in your body, feel better in your mind. Those two things have a direct and immediate connection to each other. And then remember, your body and your environment have no separation either. So pay attention to where you're taking yourself. If you're taking yourself through the drive-through and feeding yourself garbage, well, figure out why the waistline's expanding, why you're not feeling good. That's what I used to do, but I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention. Hey, you know what? The other ones might be great with Cage, so I'm going to bring you right up, my friend. Thank you for your patience and welcome, Cage. How you doing, brother?
How you been, Jack?
I'm feeling blessed. Feeling truly blessed.
That's good. That's good, man.
These ideas of attachments. Oh, that was something. What's his name? Miguel brought up yesterday. Where was that?
Well, it's kind of like the things you own end up owning you type of ideal, right? Being attached
Yes.
to
Yep.
outside things that are really a part of yourself, really like a projection of yourself in a way. Right?
Exactly. And that includes, though, these labels and diagnoses that people have been giving each other. Like man, woman, Christian, Muslim, American, Russian, whatever. These are just nonsense labels we become attached to. And the the note I made from yesterday with Miguel is he pointed out that many people identify with their beliefs and they actually think their thoughts are true, are real. They think they are their thoughts of themselves and they think others are their thoughts. They think their thoughts are more important than what is real.
You still got a landline, Talcott?
Yeah,
That's rare nowadays.
part of my story. It's fucking
You keep the landline open.
fucking annoying. I guess I could
Just
have turned the
unplug it.
volume off by now.
You can just unplug it completely.
Yeah, that too. I don't know.
What's your voicemail messages? Hi, you've reached Talcott. I'm unavailable at the moment. Can you please leave a message, or how's it
I
go?
don't I don't even remember. I may not have typed up.
Are you high today, Talcott?
Just on live, dude. I feel
Are you high
incredible.
off Jesus?
Yep.
Same.
Yep. The truth and love, wisdom and love, those two things, they bring you higher. And that's the path we're supposed to be.
Can I tell you something, Talcott?
Please.
Good things are coming for you. They're along. Trust me, it'll happen, bro. Keep putting up the message, and that it's fine. And again, when people try telling you these diagnoses or whatever, try telling you what time it is, you have to know who the fuck you are and what you're able to do. So it doesn't really matter what the fuck anyone says. You got to keep doing what you do no matter what. Live Without Fear is actually a great name. You know,
Thank you.
that's actually a great name, and you have that trademark, no?
Yes.
So
Thank you.
you own that phrase, right? So that's
Yep.
something powerful, right there, right? Like you can, yeah, there you go. You can build upon that. What if someone offered you, they wanted to have that Live Without Fear, and they offered you something? You'd be like, would you tell them to go fuck themselves, or would you accept
No,
it?
I'm actually hoping to collaborate with others who want to build it. Now, I don't want to be, pushed out of it, but I do envision collaborating and working with some big names. I mean, not egoic, but I know what I've got to offer. I know the power of the truth, and I know how blessed I've been with what God has allowed me to learn. And when I say God, I mean life, what life has allowed me to learn. See, these words, people get so caught up on their attachments of words and ideas. And unfortunately, the attachment of words and ideas keeps people's hearts from connecting with each other because everyone's just strategizing in their mind how to win that next argument. And nobody's actually, uh, we live in a world where delusions have proven to be profitable. Trauma is profitable. Conflicts are profitable. Miseducation, that's proven to be pretty profitable too. So we live in this world, this abundant world where nature has brought forth life for a long time. And nature will continue life even if we exterminate ourselves. There'll be evidence of our plastics and all of our nonsense chemical games we've been playing with each other. Those will remain with nature, but nature will overcome our imprint here on earth.
So what are you saying? Eventually, the human race will be wiped out, and only fragments of our nonsense will be left, like the plastic and these things that don't degrade very quickly over time.
Yeah, I think that's the way the corrupted leadership is leading mankind right now.
So some sort of revelation or like some apocalyptic.
No, it's just, the signs are kind of clear that if we don't change stuff, if we don't change the ways of commerce and politics, well, then humanity, that which is divided, will crumble. Our societies are going to continue to crumble. There will be a greater divide and a greater separation in the class wars. And then with those, poverty gives the wealth more power. So since there's more people in poverty, well, those with wealth have more power. And then they hire more kids to murder each other. And then you got half the working class killing the other half of the working class. And in the meantime, we've got these fools in government funding and leading the world climate, promoting wars basically. If we're paying for wars, we're promoting it, and we're not really, doesn't seem like the US representatives have been doing it much to try and end wars or try to
Hey,
bring peace.
yeah, Jack, I'm surprised it's running. You know how difficult it is to get a society to run, even like it's running in a way. So it's pretty difficult to do. Really, think about it, right? In your jobs, and all of that. Um, you can see how the structure is. It's even difficult to do something on such a smaller scale than an entire society, right? Like there's always some sort of a conflict going on, issues arising. So it's about the mitigation of those issues and problems. And do you think you could do it better than the system that's put out right now, or would it collapse right away? Because I think all of us, we want to see a change, right? But we all want to see change. But the issue is, it's surprisingly, it's a very intricate system, right? And you fuck up one part of it, it's like an ecosystem. You take out a mosquito, like, oh, no one likes mosquitoes, but you get rid of them, then the entire ecosystem collapses. You know, so it's all running in tandem and like in a very complex way. So I'm saying, I think the best you could do is change ourselves, and then from there move forward. If you want to see change, and maybe it's not about changing; it's about adaptation, adapting to the environment and what's going on.
Right. We got to let go of our attachments, let go of the attachments of the way we think things should be, let go of our attachments of the excuses, the impossibilities that so many people want to believe in. I think we need to let go of our attachments of a lot of foolishness because the way of our future prosperity on an individual level and on the collective level, I'm giving the answers, my personal testimony. Please trust what I'm saying. And if you want to prove me wrong, that's fine. But if those, I've had enough disagreements with people who just lack trust or faith. What I'm suggesting is that what Jesus was saying is true. We can all love God, love one another, and the rewards are actually pretty obvious. We become more loving and kind and fearless and faithful. And with those attributes, well, we don't really enable each other's excuses and we don't enable each other's misery. And we don't run around continually going back and forth between victim and perpetrator. We start honoring that which is real.
What
And
attachments do you have, Jack, that you like to get rid of? We all have them.
I've been praying for my life to change.
Hmm.
So actually, that kind of does remind me.
Well, I'm saying, like, think about it.
No,
We all have
here,
attachments. Your
no,
attachments are like
here.
your
Hey,
old.
Cage. Hey, Cage.
Yes,
Please,
sir. Sorry.
please listen and think about this, okay? What you're talking about, personal transformation. Yep, no disagreement. I'm not sure why you brought it up. I think maybe you might have a couple layers still to go. I've been
I
blessed.
think we all do, really, and I think it's
Well,
an ongoing thing.
I know. So let's focus on you.
Yeah,
I've looked at myself for very well, okay? I pay attention.
yeah.
So here's where I'm going. Today I did. I extended the link of the YouTube to a couple of people around town. My prayer is that eventually I will find people in this physical world I exist in. Um, and I look forward to the day when people join me in my experience, because I have so much joy. I have so much love to share and to offer. I see a lot of people joining the stream and inviting me to think like them, right? That I'm vindictive and I'm manipulative and I'm confused and all sorts of stupid nonsense. Cage, we can change this world soon as we start working together. And when I say we, I mean me and anyone else. I'm dead serious. I believe I see many paths. I believe I see many ways to bring peace to the world. This is my passion and purpose. This is why I live. I thought I lived because of my son, but God's got him taken care of. And I thought I lived for my career. That was certainly wrong. Thought I lived for my union. Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, it helped me grow into a better man. That's for damn sure. But my purpose here on earth at this time is for peace, and I'm inviting people to please join me. I've got a lot of ideas that I've failed at, that I've already tried and not yet been successful. I mean, my prayers today were with God, that God, what I was reminded by my cat, right? I watch and I learn from nature. And my little kitty cat was outside with me earlier, and I was enjoying the sun, lost in prayer and meditation and appreciation. And the little kitty wanted back in the house, wanted back in security. So she's crying at the door. And I finally come up and I'm like, all right, stop crying. If you move away from the door and you come to me, I would have got you in right away. And then I thought, is that God telling me this? So my prayers today have been, God, please. I've been knocking at the doors of success. I've been knocking at the
The
doors of
door only opens from
abundance.
the inside.
I've been knocking at the door of abundance, of prosperity, of reunification. I've been knocking at the doors. And so today I prayed for God. God, help me find a way to open the minds of those who are around me. Please, God, help me find the way. It's good to see you today, Cage. I didn't want to be interrupted, so I put you in the back for the moment, okay?
I do have something to say about that, right? The door only opens from the inside.
I
Right? We're
heard
talking about attachments. You do have
I
attachments,
heard you already.
and the attachment is this thinking into the future, right? That's it's right now. And so, oh, hopefully one day this will happen.
Cage,
But now you're leaving it up to chance, right? Now you're like, oh,
Cage,
now it's a probability. It's
Cage,
already happened. You have to get that
Cage,
into your mind.
Gage, your confusion over my words is not my problem. You want to say just live in the moment, but do you not have dreams for your future? Are you not working towards anything? Oh, that's it. You're not. You and most others I meet here online, you think we are exactly the same. The difference is I'm here for a purpose. I have goals behind my actions, and I've got these foolish people running around saying, "You're not doing anything, Jack." Okay. All right.
All right. Well, I never said you're telling me I'm not doing anything. I never said that to you.
Well, Cage,
Projecting.
why when I'm suggesting we someone who works with me has the opportunity that I believe we can actually become a part of ending wars. Why when I'm suggesting that you want us to say, "No, Jack, you live only in the now." You're attached to the future. Cage,
I
your
wasn't saying.
disagreements are unhelpful.
I didn't mean that. I didn't say live in the now. I never said those words. You have to project
You have a
boldly into
correct,
the
you have
future
a,
with your words. You
pardon?
understand? And it's projecting boldly into the future with the now with your own words
Cage,
and knowing what's going to happen either way. It's not if or maybe or when. It's already happened technically. You know what I mean? It's thought, emotion, and action working in a symbiotic relationship. The left and the right hemisphere, the left and the right pillar in conjunction, creating it. And Jack, I know you're very frustrated.
yep.
I would be too.
You know why?
Oh, the nature of the internet, a bunch of things, personal
Nope,
stuff, a whole
nope.
bunch of stuff.
How about let's come into the present. Do you see what you're doing? Do you remember your question? You asked, you looked frustrated. You observed getting frustrated. Yep. Do you see what you're doing? What I'm not to put you on the spot, and I certainly don't mean to disrespect you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not aware of what is happening. And kind of one of the things I did want to talk about today is egotism. People who are so arrogant or so insecure that they don't know what's going on. That's egotism to me, in my definitions. Um, that's a good question. Why even engage if he frustrates you? Number one,
Could you
the
say that about the
frustration.
entire internet? Your entire relationship with the internet. You could say that about it. That's
No,
why
no,
everyone's painting
no,
that same narrative.
no, no. I don't accept the excuse that everyone else is doing it, so Cage gets to be frustrating. Nope, nope, bullshit, Cage. So let me come back to what I was saying. Why engage if he frustrates you? Well, the frustrations are my problem. Cage is not my problem. He's a friend.
Jack,
He's
can I
someone
ask
I
you a
care
question
about.
quickly, please?
Yeah.
Do you know where you are right now?
Why do you need to ask that?
I thought I'd bring some levity to the conversation. You know what I mean?
Do you think it did?
Hopefully,
Do you
if you
think
have a
it
sense of
helped?
humor.
Well, do you think the levity helped, or do you think it was just an egoic thought that you wanted us all to entertain?
It could have been.
Right, it was.
It all
Cage,
depends on
Cage,
your
Cage,
perspective.
do you know where you are right now?
Unfortunately, I do.
And where do you think you are right now, Cage?
Talking to Mr. Talcott. I'm in my lair right now doing my thing. Outside of that,
All right, I appreciate.
I'm in a projection of my subconscious mind and yours too.
Well, you're also responsible for your self-control and self-censorship, and I've invited you to please stop interrupting me.
I'm gonna get out of my confusion. Sorry, Jack.
It's the egoic thing. I mean, sincerely, the way to notice the ego, it's the urgency to do or say things. That's the ego. The spirit is content just being. I've been trying to communicate with people's spirits. I've been trying to raise people's spirits. The world has conditioned people to stay trapped in their minds as though they know everything. They got an answer and an explanation for everything that Jack says, and a disagreement too. It's like, well, Kat, I'm sorry to say, you've you've offered me many critiques on what you would like me to change, I believe. Asking me, why do I do this? Why do I allow this? Well, I don't control the world. I live with the world that God brings forth, and God has brought forth these moments. And if we don't get too caught up on what we don't like, I mean, and that's just it. People keep telling me what they don't like, but that's it's not always helpful and it's not always relevant. So,
Why be worried about what other people say, though? You know, let them be.
well,
Why?
hey,
What's the point of it?
Kat, I understand you find resistance because of some of the things that people have said on the panel. I don't devote myself to just you. You do, but I don't. I've actually offered you personally my time and attention offline. You can connect to me, Kat. You've not yet found the willingness to believe that your life can change. That's my suspicion based on what I've seen and what I've said. And that actually applies to many people who have been here. I know that a friendship with me will change your life. People are afraid of change. People are more attached to their opinions and beliefs than trying to actually enjoy, it seems, what I'm trying to bring forth. So this
Some of
life,
my attachments, Jack, for example, because you said bring it back to me, right? So some of my attachments that I need to work on are, for example, family. Family's a giant attachment, which is good. Some attachments are good, but it doesn't mean I'm young, and doesn't mean you don't have to you have to go live your own path in a certain way too, right? So what else? Like the city I live in, because I feel like I've been born here, and because times got a bit harder over here to survive, I'm kind of attached to staying where I'm at, in a way. I'm attached to my environment where I'm used to stuff like that, which I don't think it's necessarily bad. Some attachments I think are actually beneficial to you. Like your ego, for example, is an attachment. This is how we're in this realm, right? Like being, I think ego is like one of the main keys of us even being in this, what we call this realm, right? Because your ego, your identity of I, right? Who you are. That's an attachment too. And I think it's very important because if we didn't have any attachments at all, I don't think we'd be in this reality. Right? Attachment holds us to ego, and ego puts us into this realm, and Malkuth, as they call it. And
I think if we weren't so attached to our egos, the world would not be so corrupted because the ego is where our confusions and fears are found. So I love what you brought up, but we just had a guest show and someone who I'm grateful, very grateful to have. Welcome, Kat.
Yes, good evening, Jack. How are you?
I am feeling blessed and I'm grateful to speak with you.
I'm
yeah,
grateful to speak with you. Good evening to everyone. Um, I'm hesitant to come up. Been hesitant to come up because I'm not into a lot of confrontation. But I feel that as always through text and messaging, people get things misconstrued. So let me make myself clear, Jack. When I'm asking questions, I'm just getting to know you. I'm a person that came across your stream a couple weeks ago. So I started watching, which led me into other people's streams and other people think, just trying to understand what's going on. I first see Jack Talcott. Then I see all this mess that comes along with it. Now, at first, I'm believing your message. It's the message I'm looking for. But then we start to see all these other people and I see all this other stuff and I'm like, whoa, what's this? It's separate, it's different than love to me. I don't know about anybody else on the panel or anybody else in the chat. I see a lot of egos. I see a lot of people coming up just to show off their thing. I'm not a person that can spend 12 hours on YouTube. I just have 2 hours or even one. And really, I'm just on here trying to just expand my life. So when you say something as in you don't think I'm trying to see, there's um something my son said to say to you, situational. Everything is situational. I didn't want to come up here because my son did not want me to be exposed to being calling a bitch, nigger, whore, you woman this, you woman that, when I'm trying to do is meet people of like mind and learn things I've never tried to see why I'm here. I did have a near death experience. I almost died. Um, in those moments, and I don't want to get choked up, so this is why I didn't want to come up here. In those moments of almost coming to this place, um, what's the right word? When you're away, when the cat is away, the mouse will play. So me being the head of household in my home and being removed, I seen when I was away how my house was run, how people really felt about Catalina, how people really felt about me. All along, I'm going along, love, faith, Christian, be this good person, help these people, do this thing. I was in home health care for so many years. And then when I got sick, all these people, a lot of people weren't there. And a lot of people weren't there for my children. And not only that, I found out about abuse that was happening to one of my children that I would have never found out if I hadn't got sick. It's a lot of things I would have never found out if I hadn't got sick.
God works in mysterious ways.
So I try to say, is that the reason? Was I supposed to see something? Did he bring me to this place? So I was supposed to see. But I'm only saying, I only came up to say to you, okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. I'm trying to just get it out so you can understand. But let me give you a moment.
I wanted to know if you could accept, right? Because what if that is true, that God took you through that path for the purpose of learning, for you to personally observe, experience, overcome? I don't know. I don't know enough. But what if? Can you accept that it was God's will for you so that you could bring through all the trials and tribulations? Those things refine us, right? They help us discover how strong we are, how powerful, and admittedly, how mysterious our God is. So, from my experience, Kat, my personal experience at least, actually, go back to you. What are your thoughts?
I do agree with you. I do agree that I was supposed to see something.
Okay.
I also, what I'm struggling with in the present moment, that's the past. I'm dealing with a lot of people saying the past, getting over the past, the present. Right now, what I'm dealing with present is making decisions to set my son up in case I don't make it in the next few months. Making decisions on who I can trust in my life to be around me.
Can you trust yourself?
I thought I could. before I got sick.
Kat, I don't want details, but I suspect there's something that you've not said, that you've not spoken out or admitted to yourself and maybe elsewhere. That's a guess, but
It's some things shouldn't be on the internet, Jack.
exactly, which is
Some
why
things,
um,
some things I don't agree with. Kind of like example, you speaking on, I'm not trying to stick you or make you upset. You speaking on your son's, your child, any case on the internet. Some things I just think
Kat,
we
what are you
can put
judging?
ourselves, not like even the subject of your kid or anything
What?
about the people speaking on your children. You
Kat,
understand?
here you go, Kat. Here's
Okay.
something I'm seeing from you. You're
Okay.
you're judging truth, trying to decide which is good, what is bad. That's why you're having problems figuring out who you can trust and who you can't trust. Your judgment has not been perfect. There's been an
Mm-hmm.
error, there's been errors in your past, and I encourage you. Um, the indecision of who can I trust and who can I not trust, that means you're having trouble trusting yourself. The only reason we have troubles trusting ourselves is if we've not humbled ourselves to the truth that we can know. And the can know means we know the truth within us, but we've been ignoring details. We've been selectively picking what we'll accept and not accept. We've placed ourselves above the truth. And this is where we've got to realize my truth I'm attached to. If I'm attached to a truth that doesn't serve me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
inflicting pain upon myself.
But let me make it clear. You asked me, was there things I wasn't speaking on? It's things I'm not speaking on with you in this present moment
Good.
because we're on the
Yep.
internet.
Yep. I understand.
That's
I
what
would,
that's all I know. When you said that you thought I was going someplace, I don't want you to misunderstand me or just by me being on this live stream or anything. I don't judge you. I'm only explaining my when you say I'm limited in what I'm saying and being careful what I say because it's the internet.
I understand that. I
And I've
respect.
noticed that people jump on these certain things and then it's a whole landslide when I'm only talking to you. I had to just talk to you today because I didn't want you to take me in the wrong light. This is a conversation really between me or you, and anybody else can have their thoughts, but this is between me and you.
Yes.
And I'm glad that was able to come up and speak with you. But I want you to understand I still do know there's love. And you're right on one thing. I am, because it just happened 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I feel like I'm being reborn. So I feel like I am learning as I go along. Do you expect a baby to know right away who to trust? That's how I think in my mind. I think when I survived what happened, somebody sent me a message while you're talking to me. I'm sorry. When I survived what happened to me, right? I'm thinking, to me, I'm learning on my feet. I feel like I'm relearning. You understand? So in my search and trying to find like-minded people that can help me relearn, brings it back to me finding you, seeing you. And certain times, Jack, I just seems like you're sad. You're giving us a message, but at some points, and there goes this face I see you do. It's cute, But it's a face you do when you just like you don't want to hear that. But it does seem like that. Sometimes you'll get on and you'll start and I'll feel the love. I'll feel it. I'm trucking with you. And then somebody irritates your last nerve and the whole thing is changed. Your whole panel is changed. And then there's sadness. And I just want you to when you examine and when I'm looking for someone to give me advice, I want them to be able to examine everything. So when I'm looking at you, just like me finding you other people looking too, I know I can't be the only one looking for something. So I don't when I just hate to get on and within 15 minutes you're pissed off.
I don't enjoy that either. And I'm sorry that I'm sharing my disappointment. I'm certainly not trying to do that, but my disappointment is real. I'm at the mercy of God and those around me. Those
Right.
who join the panel, they offer me what they do. And I do my best to navigate with care and respect, not just for the people on the panel, but the viewers. I fail
Excuse me.
often. I fail often. People certainly find problems with the way I live my life. um, but I assure you, my intentions are pure. Kat, there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason you disappeared when you did. Um, I have actually, if you're still around and able, I dropped the link again for this Gabber Mate. Brothers and sisters, for those of you who are dealing with problems, oh, beautiful, beautiful, you're back. Welcome back.
I'm sorry, dropped out.
Hey, no worries. Where I was going, I wanted to point you to the private chat if you can see.
Okay. Yes,
Um,
I think and that's another thing. I'm also getting new to this. So, yeah, I see a chat button at the bottom. So is that the chat that I see people leaving me messages. So,
well, no, in the private chat, there are two links. Cage left a link for, it looks like it's called The Art of True Healing. And I offered you the link of Dr. Gabor Mate. It's not his channel, but it's his words that someone put together. The power
okay.
of our minds and the healing potential that's available. Kat, there's a reason you're here. Okay. There's
Okay.
probably a reason you've suffered and you've faced the things that you have, and we may not know the answers for that yet. Okay.
Right.
But what I do want to help you, what I want to offer to you and try to share with you in my best ways is some support. Okay. So that you can find peace in who and where you are today, despite the challenges and uncertainties that you're facing. Sometimes all we need is actually a compassionate ear to be able to talk through some of this stuff because the answers are all within you. The answers for your life, anyone listening, the answers for your life are within you. It's a matter of finding the answers that are true and that we want. That's the key I figured out. The truth is perfect. The absolute truth is so perfect, it can go any way. It can go both ways, right? The
Right.
truth, the truth is God. And God is that which controls our life. What controls our life is the truth that we know and the truth that we believe in. So I've learned how to love the truth, even when it hurts, even when it
Well, can I ask you a question then? What's the truth you believe? What is your what's the truth you believe in when some of these comments are just so offensive to you, and you continue to still give them a chance? It's hard for me as a person. Someone comes at me two or three, might give you twice, and then I'm done. But I see that every stream you allow certain individuals to come up that are clearly being condescending.
And disruptive.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
but they're just doing it. They're not being part of the what you're talking about. They're doing it to just mess with you.
I know. Here's how I found my peace, right? The truth that I want to accept is that by God's grace, I'm allowed to be me. And I've been foolish and I've been stupid and I've jumped to conclusions about people in the past. I
Okay.
don't remember being as big of a jerk as many of these people are, but by God's grace, God's allowed me to be me. I'm trying to grow in my grace and allow people to be them. So sorry for such a long answer, but the short part,
Hmm.
how people behave, what they say, it reflects themselves.
Right. I agree
If
with that.
it's not true, if it's not true, it doesn't matter to me.
So that's why you continue to let them come up every day. It doesn't matter to you what they do.
It does and it does not. I mean, I'm trying to find that balance of what does and does not matter to me, admittedly.
Okay.
I'm trying not
Okay.
to sweat the small stuff. Let the small stuff go. Because what I do know, my unfortunate reality is this: I'm alone. It is by the grace of God and, grace of others, I guess, that I still have this mantle behind me. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have faith that God has me
Hmm.
personally. I believe God has me personally as a man prepared for great things in our future. So, I believe most people could find ways to believe that about themselves as well, if they're honest and if they know how.
You're
That's my
right.
hope. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do agree with you that it's a reflection of the people and how they act. It's just some of
Some,
them, I don't know how. I mean, I do understand when you get angry, I do understand it, but
like,
I'm looking at what you're trying to build.
right.
So in my mind, this is just evil trying to stop you from building that. That's the roots I come from.
It's
Anytime good tries to prevail, evil is going to try to step in front of you 10 times.
mhm.
That's the
it's
way I've been taught.
yeah, it happens, but we can't allow the adversaries, the opposers, we can't let them get to us. We can't let them corrupt us with their negativity. We can't allow their bitterness and their hurt to become our own. And we can't allow the adversaries and the opposition of our happiness, of our life, of our goals. They can't hold us back. We cannot allow excuses anymore. That's the choice I made for myself. Jack, you're
No more
responsible for your
excuses.
life. What's that?
So no more excuses. So what does that mean? From this point on, you won't respond to them? When you said from this point on, you're gonna change.
This is a choice I made for myself a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Several years ago, as a matter of fact, when I committed myself, well, it was kind of like the thumbnail. I uh I sought the truth. So I got tired of being so miserable, so depressed, feeling so unhealthy. I got sick of tired of wanting to die. So I tried to figure out how to live better than I had. And in my experience, I sought the truth. The Lord answered me with opportunities to learn. So the scripture, ask and ye shall receive. We must
Yeah.
ask the questions that we want to know, and we better be prepared to receive the answers, even if we don't like the answers we receive. Once we
Right.
accept the truth within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that includes the multiple perspectives of truth that come into our awareness. If we accept the totality of the truth, then we're not left with darkness and confusion. We have clarity, and with clarity, we have nothing to fear. If that makes sense, that really is the way to overcome these things.
Clarity. It does make sense. I do agree with you. Clarity is what we need. I do agree with you that there's going to be this moment that clarity will be, revealed to everyone. But I do also believe that I was given clarity when I almost died, that it was
Sure.
something revealed to me too. I do believe there are moments that people have separately, not as a group. I think
Okay.
everybody has moments
Sure.
in their life where they're thinking, what do I do?
Yeah. So we've got another guest. I believe I trust he'll be respectful with you. I
Okay.
really
Okay.
don't anticipate. Hank's a good dude. If you
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
know of Hank.
Sorry, I haven't seen you in a little bit. I was just busy with the eclipse stuff. How was it hanging, Jack?
Hey, thank you for your patience, Hank. Kat and I were having some great conversations here.
Greetings, Hank.
Yeah.
I haven't met her before.
No,
Yeah, I don't believe so.
I'm new.
Excellent.
We were just Kat was just mentioning agreement that I believe very soon there will be an awakening. There will be the veils of confusion will be lifted. Hearts will open to greater understanding. And people are going to be able, I see a world where we're all going to help each other learn how to forgive, learn how to overcome. We can, through cooperation, we can help solve many of each other's problems. And in doing that, we solve the world's problems. And I think that's what we're here to experience and to do. Everything I've been learning of, this world is ready for change, and we are the change that is happening. We
So,
should,
if we having a awakening, does that mean that we had to have a sleeping later? Do we have to is it a cycle, or how is it supposed to
ooh,
work?
yeah, I don't know. Well, the definition of an awakening for me is the realization that we were asleep in the past. And sleep is a lower level of consciousness, a more limited awareness. And so as people start expanding their consciousness, realizing the other side of the story and start accepting the totality of the way things are, we're not
So,
going to have. Go ahead.
yeah. So I think maybe it's a cycle because we our bodies have to go to sleep every once in a while to just wash our systems off. Otherwise, we'll go crazy and stuff. So
That
maybe
is
maybe
true.
so maybe we had to be awake, didn't have to be sleeping part of the time. Which is why we're not awake all the time.
Well, this could be part of the stories of Atlantis. As you know, some of the stories go, it was a great, more advanced society, lived more cooperatively, higher technologies, greater technologies than what we've got today. And so, after the floods, allegedly, mankind kind of descended in what we knew. we drifted apart. I don't know, lost language or whatever. Who knows what the past was? It's a whole bunch of different stories that are crazy. Like today.
Yeah.
What's
Sometimes
happening? Go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, sometimes we have to just pick and choose. We have to canonize our own past. We have to just pick the events that are relevant and go with that. That's literally the best we can do. We can't really retest the past. Some people say we can modify the past. So we can only we don't have an infinite amount of time, so we just have to pick a past and keep going.
I
Yeah.
do have a question.
Please.
Can I interject?
Yes, please.
When you're speaking about maybe politics or things like this, I'm not gonna act like I know much about this kind of stuff. Jack, you talk about love and your goals that you want to reach for the world. Do you not think that everything needs to start within the home, in the family home, before you can reach the world? When I say family home, let's say the children, is it not parents' responsibility to reach children before you go? Who teaches children? Do you understand? As I've been watching you last couple of weeks, you speak of y'all. You often have talks as well of politics or taxes and things like that. I agree with some of that, but my problem that I'm dealing with personally is within my home or within my,
All right.
you know what I mean, my circle of people.
All right. So that explains your question then.
Yes.
Obviously, if you've got a problem in the home, that's the first thing that should be addressed. Yes, Kat.
But shouldn't that be everyone's first priority?
Well, I don't set priorities for other people, so
Amen.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. The only one we can worry about is ourselves. So, I mean, do you have
So how could you reach anybody? If most people have to take care of home? If the economy is a real issue, even I know you guys say money, money this, money that, but if economy is real issue at home,
right?
Don't
For
you
everyone.
have to take care of home?
Yeah, sure. But Kat, here, this is what I mean.
Okay.
My life brought me to a point where I could no longer allow excuses in my life. I learned how to do things despite the lack of money. I've learned how to have joy and happiness despite the lack of approval from others or agreement from others.
Okay.
There's a reason we're here today. So if you've got issues within the family, let's you and I talk offline. Okay.
Okay.
Things shouldn't be on the internet. Some things need to be there, right?
Yes, I agree. And when I say family, I'm also meaning circle of people, not just my family and my home, circle of people around how people in my area, my people. I can't explain it in a right. I don't know if I'm getting it across. I don't want to be offensive. People that I am around, we're concerned about living day to day.
Kat, I don't mean to be rude. I don't know how to say it kindly, but I know many people today live with codependency. There's a lot of enablers. And people are pretending to care. Actually, this was one of my notes, right? Where'd it go? There's a big difference.
Excuse me.
Oh, trauma. One of the things I've been picking up on trauma, and we've got a couple of guests in the back. Please be patient.
I don't want to hold it. I know I'm not a normal panelist. I don't want to hold anybody up.
Yeah,
you are important. You are
absolutely,
important.
absolutely. And
Okay.
here, this thought is probably very relevant to what we were talking about. Trauma.
Okay. Okay.
Trauma, and this is picked up from that doctor, from Dr. Gabor Mate. It's been mentioned several times in this video, and please, I encourage you to investigate his work.
Okay.
Trauma comes from not only from the pain that we might experience in a betrayal, in a hurt, in a loss, whatever. It's not just the pain, it's the isolation. It's the lack of connection to someone so that we can receive and share compassion. Pain plus isolation equals trauma. Now, what's going on in our world today, trauma has been enabled because we get people, everyone's in their mind. So intellectually, everyone's making excuses of, oh, yeah, you should carry that pain. Oh, yeah, you should carry that hate. Oh, yeah, you should carry that rage. No, that is intellectual nonsense. It's our egoic confusion, spreading confusion. The spirit of healing is through the heart. Okay. The way to heal is to unite the mind and the heart together with the truth that's contained within. Now, it's difficult to do that because our minds are tricky. They're they're divinely created. And that's why we need each other. Through heartfelt connection, heartfelt communication with each other, we can help each other overcome the trauma. We can stop enabling the excuses and the blame, because excuses and the blame keep us from our purity, from our divinity. And we are here to be children of God, celebrating life each and every day.
But what if you want to be alone? What if that makes you happy? What if your deepest thought is, I just want to be alone?
Okay,
I
well,
don't want to be bothered. If that, I'm sorry.
I would ask yourself why, and is it out of love of being separated from everyone else, or is it out of fear of disappointment, fear of hurt, fear of uh of striking up old wounds, right? There's a big difference between our mind will use the excuse, oh, I love being alone in my misery where nobody else is around me, right? Our pity parties is a bunch of nonsense. But our hearts, you know what, God, let me not offer judgment, because
I was just about to say, is that judgment?
it is.
Okay.
Well, it's my judgment, because I remember how foolish, how I know my past foolishness, and I know the mistakes I've made, and I feel bad for people who are still suffering of their own creation. So I lost the point. Where was I? What was I saying when I offered judgment?
Yeah, I said judgment.
But what was my
You
judgment?
said self-pity. What's made me comment is you said the word self-pity.
It doesn't serve us. Oh, we use the ego, evil, the idea of Satan. Satan takes the truth and manipulates it into illusions, and these illusions become very convincing in our minds. Our egos do this. The belief systems we've got will take the truth and we'll twist it, and we'll say, I'm showing love by offering pity, by offering, I don't know, by keeping people away, building these walls and these defenses. It is our egoic foolishness. The freedom we want, it's found through the freedom in your mind. And your mind, it comes through uniting your mind and heart together. It's practice of focus and meditation, prayer. By God's grace, it may be received.
So you don't want to be alone. You said you're alone, so you don't want to be alone.
I've been on my own since 2018, Kat. I miss my son. I miss my friends. I miss having people enjoying my company. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't seem, if they want me around, it's to make fun of me or to insult me or to tell me what they think. So I miss having community. Yes. Now, the other side of that, though, Kat, I believe
See,
God
that makes me ask questions. I'm sorry. That makes me ask you want to ask you more questions. Because that you're saying you are alone, right?
does.
You said
Yeah,
you've been alone all this time. You didn't want to be,
right.
but you said you've reached this place
Hmm.
of peace, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how can that match? I'm confused. I'm confused so
Okay.
how
So
can you
here,
say you're in a place of peace if you're
by
lonely?
the fact I'm not lonely. You're projecting your loneliness onto me. And see, what I was just trying to say is that the explanation of what I was offering is that it's my
Hmm.
theory God does separate us, places us into these periods of isolation where there truly is no one around, or
Okay.
where that is what we want. But the idea is for us to become more confident in ourselves, to grow closer to God and the truth of who we are. That's exactly what happened to me. So I
Okay.
went through time where I grieved the loss of my son, and I grieved the loss of my career and my life savings and my reputation. And I cried about all that shit when it left. And then
Hmm.
I realized, how long do I want to cry? I don't. I don't want to cry tears of lack and sadness. I want to cry tears of joy and ecstasy, of bliss.
Hmm.
And those are all available. That's what I realized. So rather than deal with the loneliness, I found the bliss of solitude. And in the past, when I was trapped in my ego, I could be around a lot of people and I would feel completely alone. Now
Hmm.
I go out and literally nobody really interacts with me. It's like I am a friggin' ghost. Unless people want my money, they don't have anything to say to me. And
Hmm.
and yet I feel
And you're
completely
fine.
connected to everyone.
Okay. So you feel fine when you're going out like that, and you say this is feel fine. Well, that's how I feel then. I feel okay with wanting to be alone. I only feel guilty. I feel guilty that I feel okay, that I want to be alone because others want to be around me, but I don't want to be bothered by others. Do you understand? I
Why do you think
want to
others
be,
bother?
I want to be in solitude. For
Why do
right,
you?
I want to be in solitude,
Okay,
and
all
I
right.
feel guilty that others want to be around me and want to reach out, but I don't want to be bothered by those certain individuals.
Well, then accept responsibility for your opinions, and then you
Okay.
can make peace with whatever choices you make.
Okay.
That's what I found. Um, if you don't believe people can disrupt you, you have nothing to worry about, right? And then
Yeah.
solitude can be
Well,
found.
I'm not in that. I'm not going to pretend to be in the same place as you. There is a level of where somebody can still disrupt me. Whereas you can put up with certain things, that more people can put up with. I couldn't put up with somebody on my stream constantly berating me constantly. I would just block them.
Well, I can, and actually, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's cute. I'd like to hear the new insults. A new insult just dropped,
Okay.
so I think it's cute. So I could put up with it. And
Well,
just meet me in the middle.
you're in that place. I'm not in. I can't. I'm not in that place.
That
I'm just new to the internet, so that's a lot for me. What you guys can take as cute or a joke, or it doesn't bother me.
Anyone
Now, I
can
certainly
do.
want to get to that place.
Well,
Yeah. For example,
anyone,
this banana boy thing is that one of the things King Stephen called me on Flow State last night before we made up, and I actually kind of like the name, so I kept it.
Okay.
hey, I want to point out anyone can do what anyone can do, and you can do anything you want.
Hmm.
Yeah, I want to assure you that you and I are not that separated.
Right.
You're in the same place and time. You have the access to the same peace, the same, I don't know, bliss of being. I believe we have access to the same thing in the same moment of time that we're sharing. So just a matter of awareness and willingness. And you are, Kat, you are more important than your attachments. And if you're attached to these old beliefs that I'm not whatever, I'm not enough, I'm not alone enough, whatever it is, let go of those thoughts and just focus on enjoying being you from now on. That's really
Okay.
our point and our goal, if you can believe it. Enjoy being you. And I want to offer, please, Chandler, you've been very patient. I left you in the back for quite a while, and I don't know if we've even met. Welcome to.
Yeah, we talked last year over the phone quite a bit.
Okay.
I joined mainly because I wanted to speak about the interplay between awakening and being asleep. That's whenever I joined, but I've been hanging in there for quite a minute now.
I
It
say
also
we.
kind of correlates to what she's been talking about regarding people insulting you, stuff like that. I I quoted a famous philosopher in chat talking about how we would fight if a person tried to take our body as a slave, but how easily we give control over our minds away over a simple insult. So you're becoming their slave over an insult, but if it was a physical altercation, then you wouldn't nearly give up as easily as you would over an insult. But
Brilliant.
with the awakening and the asleep, you got to think if it was a full moon every day, then the full moon wouldn't be as beautiful or impactful. So you can't be awake every day or in that state of bliss at all times, or it would just be.
It's very true.
Yeah, it may turn into torture even.
Yeah. It'd be like the Tower of Babel. You get to a certain point to where chaos has to be introduced to you know
Yeah, you need some chaos to have harmony.
right.
You have to have an anti-fragile system.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of get this in the story of Exodus as well. They're under the tyranny of the Pharaoh, and then they leave into the desert, and the desert is just chaos, pretty much. They don't know what's out in the desert. So they come from a tyranny into the desert, and whenever they get out into the desert, they are complaining to God. They're like, "Why did you save us from the tyranny?" Whenever we were with Pharaoh, we were slaves, but we were eating fruits and all this other stuff. Now we're gonna starve, and so it's not obvious that the freedom is better than the tyranny at first glance. Sometimes you need an imposing order in order to actually appreciate it. And sometimes you need the chaos to appreciate the order.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's part of the balance we find within us. There's a balance of gratitude and desire. You know, being whole and complete and acceptance in the moment, but yet having the freedom and the ability to go create, to go achieve, to go whatever we want. Our desires are what move us.
Oh yeah.
Our
Um,
mind limit.
Funny you mentioned that. The etymology of the word sin, it comes from the German word for sunder, to split apart. So sin is anything that makes you not whole. And that is why Christ is sinless, free of sin, because he is whole. So sin doesn't necessarily have to be evil or bad things. Like just impulse in general can make you not whole.
I love that. That reminded me, I can't remember the exact words, but it's a lesson from Course in Miracle. A sin is an error to be corrected. It's a mistake to be corrected. That's all it is. It's a learning opportunity for us. The world has conditioned us to live in this eternal judgment and fear of condemnation. And then we run around judging and condemning each other as though we're the opposer, we're the accusers.
Yeah.
It's crazy how we're created. But our God, I have faith. I have so much faith in all that I've learned.
Yeah, and that's the thing with waking up. Whenever you wake up, you don't leave the dream. You're still here.
Yes.
It's just the
Right.
dream world changes and it refers to something outside of itself. It's referring to the upper room, you know. You see heaven and God in the irony. And you see that in the symbol of the cross, the vertical meeting the horizontal.
Yeah. To the pure shall see God. You can see God and good in all things.
Oh
If
yeah.
we Is that cat?
Not I think that's me actually. Yeah, that's
Okay.
me.
Gotcha. All right, no worries. Oh, to the pure the pure can see God. God is the goodness. We get to choose from the infinite amount of possibilities. Oh, actually, even deeper. The world we see actually has no meaning except what we assign it. And
Mm.
so recognizing that. What's that?
Well, this is a good. This has been a discussion for ages: is whether or
Okay.
not meaning exists
Right?
inherently in the world, or whether or not we give it meaning. And I think it's a mix of both, personally.
Yes, I agree. I agree. There is a meaning and a purpose that's revealed. I think it's shown without speaking. It's revealed to us. The meaning and the purpose is shown. But life it's lived through signs and symbols. Signs and
Mm.
symbols only have meaning to the individual, but the individual shares the meaning. I don't know. This
Well, yeah,
consciousness is amazing.
it's not limited to the individual per
Right.
se. I don't know if you're familiar with Jung's work, but
Yep.
he finds symbols repeating in people's dreams and stuff. You know, he believes in the collective unconscious, and
I do as well.
yeah.
I believe that's what we are. We're within like the infinite mind, and then there's layers and layers and layers of mind and ignorance, and we're just part of the human experience, the human consciousness. We've not yet learned how to communicate with the consciousness of beings beyond ourselves, but
So would you say that God is consciousness, or is he a being himself?
I don't
Or
know that. Oh, my thoughts
it's
on God. Yes, I believe that God is perfectly beyond our comprehension, and that God can assume any and all forms that it wants. And I think that that's what's happening. God has assumed all forms, individuations, for the purpose of exploring life. And I think we're just a part of that. So we're part of the life that our Creator imagined and dreamed up. And a dream is just a consciousness, right? We're the ones who think we're awake, but we're only thinking we're awake because we can see ourselves thinking. Our minds are amazing. And our God is even more divine than that, because our God created this, all of this. The experience.
The way that you're speaking, it seems more like emanation than creation. So it's
Yeah.
like everything emanated from God. It came from him, his being. It's not that he stood outside of it and created it. It's that he became it. He became the painting rather than painting it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's why God is omnipresent. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He has to be. In order for God to be absolute, you have to be able to find God right now.
It is now.
Yeah, he has to be everywhere.
Yes. Now is God. So rest in God, in the presence of God. Live in the presence of God. Walk in the presence of God. Speak in the presence of God. And what is God? God is that which is holy. That which is whole is complete and pure and perfect. If you can believe it, that's right now. And everything that now includes. We are perfect until we stray from the truth of the present and what's authentic. Because who we are, we're created to be the part of the living truth. We are the living truth that is when we're honest and authentic, when we don't corrupt ourselves with excuses and blame and lies, we stay holy. And that's what I believe. That's honestly the simplicity of this creation. Our God is so good. The way of the Christ is true. The way is love. Love is the way we're supposed to live through each moment. I've been practicing, not perfect.
I mean, there's instances where Christ doesn't show love, I would say. Like,
Love, slow to anger.
yeah. Like there's an instance when they start money laundering in his church and then he flips tables and chases them with a whip. But people don't like to talk about severity. They want to talk about the mercy and the love and kindness. But whenever he kills 144,000 people with a single angel, we want to ignore that part.
I don't know that that's happened.
Well, it's a biblical story. Whether or not you believe in that specific book of the Bible is up to you, of course.
Well, and what if I have theories that we've misunderstood the Bible.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, the Bible is like 72 books made into one book. So, and then somebody or a group of people decided which of those books are scripture. Mm-hmm. So you can either believe in specific books or, I'm sure you've heard of the Apocrypha, which are books that are non-canon to the Bible. So me personally, I just group them all together. Whatever could be scripture, I read it and let the spirit or discernment let me know what is from God and what is not, instead of the council who decides what's gospel and what isn't.
Right.
But I guess it's up to your discernment whether or not that specific book is true or if it's allegorical or symbolic, or, you know.
Well, what I was trying to say is I think there's been a lot of misinterpretations on what many things have meant. And the answer in it has been simplified. The truth is, love is the way. Love is the answer, regardless of the interpretations and the corruptions, you know. And then the other part is that the Bible is a love story. Honestly, it's a love story of God's revelations and um, prophetic messages being recorded and shared, and then all of a sudden these prophecies come true. And there was a reason I started that. I forgot where I was going with this. Sorry.
About love is the way.
Oh,
Right?
yes. And the Bible too. Oh, the end times even regarding the prophecies. I believe that there's evidence when we change, when mankind actually shifts and it happens, the falling away, I believe, could be the falling away of the ego. The Bible talks about where there's, you know, in the field and the mill, there will be two, and then there will be one. Well, guess what? When the veil of confusion is lifted, people stop living in this false reality of their egoic importance and their self-glorification. That'll fall away. And then there will be one. There will be the humble child of God who's willing to walk with the truth and to walk strongly with love.
I mean,
Free.
in a narrative sense, in a myth sense, like, or a story, it seems like there's a cycle of that in the Bible. Because in the beginning, there's a fall from unity into multiplicity. Because they eat from the knowledge of good and evil, they fall into duality. From the one come the two. But then you get Cain, Abel, the multiplicity goes on until the Tower of Babel, and they build up into unity once more, and then God strikes confusion in them to knock them back down, because we're not meant to be as God. We're meant to we're meant to strive towards God without ever. It's like an ideal. You're not supposed to reach it. It's supposed to be.
See, I think that's one of the religious teachings that people are supposed to be, that they're sinners.
So do you think that we're supposed to attain union with God then?
Yes. Following the way of Christ as he prayed, we become one with the love of God, which was the Spirit of Christ. And through that Spirit of Christ that's with us eternally, we've become one with the truth of God, which is the truth.
What was the point in the fall then?
To allow us to learn, because just as it says, you know, to bite from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we're going to be like the gods. The gods know the difference. Prior to that awakening to choices other than God's will, we only knew God's will, allegedly. And then once we learn that we can stray from God's will, well, then we do become like the gods, because the gods know evil, but they choose good. So that's my interpretation of that. And so to know the goodness of God, we would need to descend and drift away from it and really create hell on earth. And if we look at the news, I think hell on earth is here for many who are not us. Those are the people I'm on here trying to help. I think those of us who are not in danger and famine and starvation, I think those of us who are in safety can do a lot more together if we have faith in God. We start actually walking the walk with courage and love, and we can bring peace to this world.
What about the ones that are in danger?
They're waiting for us. God has faith that we'll get there in time, I think.
How do you know this doesn't lead to another Tower of Babel?
Well, I know my purpose. What I've been called to do and what I see as the solution is, swear to God, this is just explaining what I see, but I see America as the solution because that's where I'm at. And what America can do is start learning some damn humility. Right? That was the problem back in Babylon, was arrogantly mankind worked to really overtake God. However, what I'm suggesting is that we follow the example of that we were given of the Christ, and we live to serve the world. We actually recognize that without God we are nothing, but with God we are everything. So,
all right. Well, that's a good point. That it was of our own will that we try to ascend to God rather than earning it in His eyes, I guess, or gaining His favor to do it.
thank you.
So this story is actually a part of a Greek story as well, where it's crazy how these narratives or these myths are like. That's why I think there's a true meaning to reality, regardless. It's because these myths pop up everywhere, regardless of culture or distance. But the Greek myth is that we were all born spherical, so we were a sphere, and then we tried to roll up the Mount Olympus to reach Zeus, the Gother, the father of gods, pretty much. And then Zeus split us in half into duality, and then made us search for our other half in order to become whole again. And I think that's what we're here doing, with Christ being the one who is whole, free of sin, free of division. And all of us are kind of divided regardless of how good we may seem, That's the thing with humility. You don't become humble and then you're done. It's a work in progress.
Correct. The thing I wanted to push back on, though, I was trying to remember where I got some of these scriptures, but when we walk with Him, we shall sin no more. And that is the idea. I mean, even with the adulterer, where Jesus was confronted, they wanted to stone her. In his offering as, the Son of God, the will of God, He says, I offer no condemnation, go sin no more, right? That's what we're supposed to do, is choose to sin no more. Release the selfish ways of the world. The selfishness of the world has taught us that excuses and blame are the normal way to live, and they're not. The truth is all that matters, but love leads us that way if we allow it. If we allow fear to lead our lives, to dominate our time, guess what? We're going to keep the answers we need at a safe distance away from us. Safe distance. Our egoic confusion has led to, the billionaire class of today, and our egoic confusion has led us to Joe Biden in the White House and Donald Trump in the White House. And I don't like this games that they're playing. I think we should unite together. What's happening?
I think this is where we had our major disagreement back in the day, so long ago. It was because you're very political with it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm more so like an individual process of Jung called it individualization of or enlightenment, I guess, rather than a let's take over the government,
Why
there's
not both? Why not both?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
Let's bring these concepts of individuation and oh, I froze. Am I there?
You good? You
Yeah.
good, Jack? You thought?
Okay. I want to bring the ideas of individuation and awakening into the halls of Congress. I'd like to speak to the people at the Capitol building so they realize, well, they're doing a pretty piss poor job of.
Now you froze. Yeah.
Okay, you're frozen again.
All right. So while I do agree that the government is doing a piss poor job, don't get me wrong here. I don't like the government either. I think the focus should mainly be on the individual rather than a. We got to carry our own cross first before we can start.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, sometimes you can't pick up your own cross, so we have to work together.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can assist, but I think whenever it comes to realization, I'm sure everyone's, well, at least you two, maybe more people in the chat have had a realization where they seem like they are progressing individually, spiritually. That's not really something that I can do for you or like someone can do for someone else. It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
you have to be at a certain baseline before you can even start really retaining anything that any of the great teachers are going to tell you anyways.
so here's an issue. Sometimes people don't just meld and gel in. So like Mr. Pie that's always had a group of his boys that work together on getting stuff done. I don't have that group that automatically works together, so my baseline is really high, but I can't accomplish as much as that group can because I don't have enough power and with just my individual person. So sometimes I have to try at least attempt to organize some co-creation to get things done I couldn't do on my own.
All right, so I guess I think we're in agreement, all three of us. It's just where we should start. I think it starts with the individual. It would seem you are more community based, and he would be more of a gestalt, nation based, or like.
So we always start with the individual, but we can depending on the issue, we change our focus because some problems aren't resolvable at the individual level.
Yeah, I'm with him with a nude guru.
Yes.
Yeah. The problem is we can't. There's only so much you can do you have to have a baseline understanding with this stuff. You got to understand the symbols to understand what the ancients were teaching, what religion is actually conveying, because every major religion has an underlying sect as an SECT, by the way, of mysticism or a deeper spiritual truth that they do not show to the public per se. That is something that you have to understand the symbols to really know.
Well, here's the thing. We have the internet now. Everything's public, but it doesn't mean everyone is an expert at everything, or anyone's an expert at the entire subject material. So we have to work together to see the whole elephant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny you mentioned that. That brings me to the concept of dialogos, which I'm not sure if you have looked into
go ahead
that.
and explain it for the audience, please.
All right, it's Socrates and Plato back in Neoplatonism, and if anyone's heard of the philosophical Silk Road, it's pretty much where Neoplatonism and there was a trade of ideas and principles with Taoism and Buddhism and the Greeks, philosophers, and the Egyptians. I mean, Plato and Pythagoras both talk about Egypt and allegedly going there. Whether or not that's true, we don't know, but they all share similar ideas regarding making the two one. Pretty much fixing multiplicity, the Tower of Babel issue we've been talking about. And the Dialogos, Socrates was said to be able to cause a psychedelic experience through conversation alone. So it's where the Logos means law or word of God. So in the original Bible, Christ's name was Logos. It says he was the Logos, the law or word of God. So Dialogos is through dialogue, a conversation like we're having, you get a sense of a divine presence like around, where it could be similarly attributed to the Holy Spirit, kind of, where through a dialogue you feel the Logos or the word of God, you know, not that any particular person is the word of God, but that the combination is referring to another presence in the room, I guess.
Yeah, so I actually like the way Principia Discordia explains it the most, because it gets to the point very quickly, not too many steps. So we see order and we see disorder, and that's just our perception of things over a whole chaos. So it's a monad, one whole, but before sensory systems, we distinguish one part from another part. We are dialectic.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is inherently relational in general. I mean,
yes,
you don't have courage without fear. You don't have evil without good. Stuff like that.
Exactly.
Here, let me jump in here on this, because I love that. That's what I was just thinking about earlier, is the relativity of life. Everything is related and relative to our own perspective, our own consciousness. And what I've been realizing for myself, I'm going to mute for just a minute. What I realized for myself is that through humility, through the truth and humble acceptance of the truth, I become more humble. Becoming more humble, I'm less self-focused, less self-centered, less egotistical, less ego-centered. I'm more selfless. I actually do live with a mind of, God, where do I go serve? Where am I called to be? How may I serve? What may I do? So the idea of becoming selfless means that you're insignificant. And think that through. If you can get the mindset that you do matter, right? You are real. What you feel and what you think and what you do, it really matters. But if you can realize that you're insignificant in the greatest scope of space and time, what we think doesn't really matter. So with the humility of my insignificance, I really don't have much to worry about, because I recognize I don't control much beyond me. And I don't even always control me very well. So I've got to pay very close attention to me and pay attention to what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and what I'm thinking. Jeez, my technology's acting up. Here, go ahead. Go ahead. I muted you for a minute, Chandler, but there we go.
All right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do have a point regarding the insignificance, because I'm one of those that believe in the whole as above, so below, the law of correspondence that Hermes and Thoth talk about. So that would mean that man is the microcosm of the macrocosm. The heavens are displayed here in everything. God is here in everything. So it's a little tough to say that we are insignificant or any one piece is insignificant because
Right.
you don't get the whole without it.
Yeah.
So
No disagreement. You're spot on.
right.
Yeah, but there
It's
is
just the wording, I
there's
guess.
an exception. So sometimes we can generate something procedurally, so we can summarize it with less space than it takes to store the expanded version. It's pretty complicated subject. It has to do with computational, irreducible complexity, and probably Wolfram can train your net faster than I can, but it's pretty complicated.
You know, guys, lady, gentlemen, I just realized it's already been a couple hours. I don't mean to throw a wrench in suddenly, but I do feel like it's time to wrap up. And,
Really?
Fine with me.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to
me.
yeah. Thanks for having me. I wanted to talk to Tarek, but apparently he doesn't want to talk to me. Oh well. I was open to resolution. You're not open to resolution, so the problem's on your end, Tarek.
I'm sure will come. You guys will find a way if that's what you want. Thanks, Hank. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler? Oh, blessings. Appreciate Sincerely.
Well, thank you.
Hey, is this the Chandler that was just up here? If it was, I'd like to add you as a mod and whatever. Kat, thank you for joining. I feel the energies of today. We're much more respectful and much more productive than some of the past.
Yes, you controlled it. You controlled it quite well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. I felt comfortable, and we'll talk privately.
Respect, sincerely. I do appreciate your trust, your attention, and your time. I'm going to throw you to the back and offer some final words here myself. To all of you, sincerely, who joined on the panel, off the panel, in the chat, who join and press play at a later time, thank you sincerely for sharing your time, your attention, your life force energy with me. It's important. Our time and attention is what creates our life. And I hope it is my goal. It is my goal, my desire to share some joy into your life, whoever you are, those who tune in. And hey, wait, that's who was up there, I think. Anyway, the thumbnail today, sincerely, it inspired me, but it is the truth for me. And I encourage you to consider the part you are playing in your life, right? With the tools and the gifts that have been given to you, within you, the powers of your mind, the expression of your heart, the uniqueness of you. Every one of us, we've got something special and talented hidden within ourselves, and the world wants us to feel so small, stay so confused, right? So everyone conforms and obeys, and don't speak up, don't say too much. But you know what? That's another reminder for you. Find a way to become comfortable with the truth that you know. It's your path to freedom. To become comfortable with the truth that you know means often a letting go of some of your old attachments, some of your old ideas on what you used to believe or what you expected of others. You got to be able to accept the disappointment that life brings forth. Your resistance to the disappointment is what carries the pain and the agony. Sometimes maybe when there is a betrayal, something I didn't talk about, when there is something that happens, allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to grieve. You're only human, right? And until we figure out what is real, until we figure out who we are and the strength of what's in store, Life can be scary. Life can be painful. Life can be very confusing, but it doesn't have to be. You are more important than your attachments. Pay attention to how you're feeling and how you're treating yourself. Give yourself permission to grow, to change, to try something new. I mean, have fun with your life. It's your life to live. You only get this one in this lifetime, so make the most of it. What I did for myself to get out of my own head, to get out of my own misery and my confusion and my disappointments of the life I was living, I sought the truth. I didn't realize it clearly back then, but that is what I was doing. So get clarity on yourself. And I'm telling you, you seek the truth. When you ask the questions that relate to you and your life, your happiness, when you find the worthiness in seeking the answers that you need to find your health, your happiness, your joy, your freedom, when you seek to know those answers, the Lord will provide you opportunities. And the Lord of my life is that which is real. Reality and life brought forth to me opportunities to learn. Can I point to say, God, I asked for this and God gave me this and this was exactly what I wanted? No, I can't really say that. But the questions I asked, I got the answers for. It just came in ways I wasn't expecting. I got opportunities to grow and practice in my own personal development of patience. And I realized my patience has actually confused many people. I've been judged as being foolish because I'm patient and kind for so long and with so many. It's not a bad thing, and I don't believe it to be foolish either, because I live with love. I have faith in the love of God, that God has love for me beyond what the world wants me to believe. And I want you to believe in that love too. Because I'm not special. I'm just like you. I've just lived a unique life that's a little bit different than yours. I'm as special as you, and we are as special as the evidence shows. Brothers and sisters, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. A couple hours. I think this has been a wonderful time. I think we had a great energy. And yeah, here, humble yourself to the truth, seek the truth. The answers will appear. And when you can stand strongly in the truth with honesty, that's the point I wanted to get out to live honest and authentic lives. We've got to be willing to speak up when it's necessary and to shut up when it's polite. No, let me not judge the politeness. Anyway, I don't want to add confusion. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, thank you to all who have joined in and who may join in at a later time. My love is genuine. My appreciation is deep. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless you, and thank you all.